It's way too cold to make a video. That's better, let's go.
East Larger Plant with RLH1994.
That's sadly about as funny as this video is going to get, because it's actually going to be on a very serious topic. In fact, can we get some serious lighting in here? There we go, I feel way more better with the serious lighting now. So, I don't know if any of you know, but there's been something going around on Facebook that someone's posted naked pictures of themselves or something, and I personally don't know much about the story, so I'm not actually going to talk about that one in particular, but cyberbullying as a whole is actually going to be the topic of this video. And if that's not really what you want to hear about, then I'm sorry, but leave. There might be a funny one up next week. Go watch it. I don't really care, but this is something I want to talk about, so you can either listen or you can go. Now, as someone who spent a lot of their younger years being bullied, not so much physically, but mainly mentally, I sort of built up a resistance to it. It doesn't particularly bother me anymore in any form. It really doesn't affect me. It's just sort of, I just brush it off and get on with it. But I know a lot of people are still affected by it, both physical and mental, and I know people who are younger than me obviously won't have had that time to build up the resistance to it. There's no real advice I can give to anyone being either bullied or cyberbullied if they won't already know. I'm not going to say it's better to tell people or to not tell people. That's not really my place to say, but my opinion on cyberbullying is that it's, well, as stupid as bullying is, it's ridiculous because everyone's different. I'm different to most people. I'm genuinely a bit crazy, and you know, that's outside the norm, and that's not what people expect. So often it's going to be very difficult for people who are outside of the norm to fit in. Cyberbullying is just sort of the next step in line. It was always going to progress there, but if anything, it makes it a lot easier to track them if it does want to be brought to the light. I mean, there's evidence of everything. If they send texts, you just keep the number and record them. If they send stuff on Facebook, then you've got the evidence there. And really, cyberbullying, it's worse because as where before it was just sort of at school. Now they've found a way to get into your home, which obviously is a terrible, terrible thing. But the fact that it's so easy to draw the attention to, and the fact that because it's now there, it's no longer just bullying. It can actually be classed as harassment. It can gain a criminal prosecution. It makes it, I wouldn't say cyberbullying is any better than bullying, because the whole principle of it's still stupid and it shouldn't happen, but it's a lot easier to deal with than bullying is. But I mean, this whole thing that's been going on Facebook lately, I think the best thing to do about it really is to just ignore it. I don't actually know particularly what happened, so I don't know what's gone on and whose fault it is and who's being blamed for what, but the best thing easily is just to ignore it, because by drawing attention to it, you're getting involved in it, you're getting other people involved in it, and it's not what should be happening. If something like this happens, I'm not saying ignore cyberbullying, I'm saying don't point out that it's going on, don't keep saying over and over again about it. Everyone knows. Either people who don't know can ask if they want to, but don't feel the need to tell everyone about it, because you're just helping sort of spread the news, spread the bullying. Here's some facts about bullying. According to the Bullying UK's 2006 National Bullying Survey, 69% of children in the UK report being bullied. That is a huge amount of people, that's ridiculous. That shouldn't be happening. Now, I'm not saying that like everything is, I'm not saying like having a joke with someone's bullied, but I'm talking proper bullying here, and obviously it's affected them. So, I mean, just think when you say stuff to people. 87% of parents report that their child has been bullied in the past 12 months. So, 69% admit to being bullied, and 87% have been bullied in the last 12 months. This is ridiculous. 20% report bullying others. Now, obviously, that's 20% who are at least admitting to it, which, I'm going to be honest, is braver than the people who aren't admitting to it. And then they know they're doing it, and it's wrong, and they shouldn't be. And that's 20% too many. 85% had witnessed bullying, which is, you shouldn't be exposed to that. Not only should you not be bullied, and should you not bully, but you shouldn't have to see someone else bullied. But an admirable 82% of those people had at least tried to intervene in the bullying, and that is really what needs to be done. If you see bullying, you need to tell someone about it. You need to try it. I'm not saying if someone's being beaten up, go in and try and defend them, but 82% tried to intervene. That needs to be 100. The amount of bullying needs to be 0%, and the amount being bullied needs to be 0%. I'm not saying it can ever happen, because it's not going to, but in an ideal world, that's what it would be. The same website says that bullying is an unprovoked, sustained campaign of aggression towards someone in order to hurt them for the sake of it. It's estimated that at least 20 children and adolescents a year commit suicide because of being bullied. And that's a conservative estimate based on documented things, so it's actually probably a lot higher. And that's not including people who tried to commit suicide and survive. That's 20 people a year that shouldn't happen. According to the National Bullying Survey, more than half of those who reported being bullied had been physically hurt. 34% of those physically hurt required attention from a doctor or hospital. I'm sorry, but how is that in any way in anyone's mindset that putting someone to hospital just for the sake of it is a good thing? And for those of you who didn't know, this week is actually Anti-Bullying Week from the 14th to the 18th of November of 2011. Slogans stop and think, words can hurt, and of course physical violence hurts even more. But in this Anti-Bullying Week, if you see someone being bullied, if you know that someone's being bullied, please draw it to the attention of someone who can make a difference, because whilst you may not think that you can make a difference, you can. If you see something that might be bullying, go speak to the person. If someone sort of comes up to you and confides in you, make sure you act on it, because we can't stop bullying, and I know it's going to continue forever, but if everyone did their part, as much with anything in the world, it could at least help it. And I don't think that I'm not saying Anti-Bullying Week is the only week of the year that this should happen. It should happen every single day of the year. No one should be bullied. But this week is to draw attention to it. So if you're in school and it hasn't been drawn attention to, go speak to your teachers, go speak to them, try and get it publicised, because it shouldn't be happening. And I don't know if this incident on Facebook was just timed for Anti-Bullying Week or if it's just a coincidence, but it's something that needs to be addressed, and I think everyone needs to spend their time thinking about it, at least today. So if you have watched all the way to the end, then I thank you. Leave your opinions below. I'm not saying that we can ever completely eradicate bullying, but we can at least help reduce it, and we can help those who have been bullied. I'll leave some links down below to any websites to do with Anti-Bullying Week or bullying help and stuff like that. And as always, have a good morning, afternoon, evening, night, wherever you are, whatever you're doing. Goodbye.